Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello to you, good morning, and welcome back to the channel where today you join me at HWM Aston Martin, where I'm here to take a test drive and experience in a particularly special car. Inside the showroom is the new Aston Martin Vantage V600, and the owner, Zen Car Driver on Instagram, has invited me today to come down, take a look at his car, one of only 7 in the world, and go out for a drive to see what it's like. Now, this is the ultimate Vantage of that generation, a particularly significant car to me. My first ever sports car was the 4.7 Vantage Roadster, and as I'm sure you know, I currently own one of those, a Vantage GT8. This though, the V600, is the ultimate. So let's head on past the DBS Superleggera, the latest model in Aston's lineup, to go take a look, hear the titanium exhaust as it starts up, and then take it out on the roads. Here it is then, the Aston Martin Vantage V600, one of only the 7 coupes, and they're also building 7 roadsters for a total run of 14 cars, effectively a commission from Aston Martin Q to create the ultimate road-going Vantage based on this generation. It was a car that when it was launched was so pretty, it had a long lifespan ahead of it and has spawned many models during that time, one of which is actually right over there, the Vantage GT12, which played a big part in this because the GT12 was only available with the Sport Shift paddle gearbox. Customers were demanding a manual, and that is what we have here. Named the V600 because Vantage with 600 horsepower from the 6-litre naturally aspirated V12, and then inside it has the magical 7-speed manual gearbox. It also has AM shift, so you can flat shift it under throttle, which will be quite fun to experience later on too. But basically it's got the wider track of the GT12, it's a full carbon fibre body, so it's very, very lightweight, and it's also got the titanium exhaust system, which we shall hear in a moment to take it outside. But it pays tribute also in its name back to the 1999 Vantage, which had 600 horsepower as well as it happened, something that was completely wild for its time. You can see many bespoke cues in the design. So for example, the ducts you have here at the side, the whole body is carbon fibre, the perforations down the front of the bonnet, similar to some of the design and branding work of Aston Martin, the full aluminium front grille, the mesh here, a very solid piece itself, the exposed satin carbon fibre. It's a good plate as well that Zen Car Driver has on his car here. The wheels created for this model. If we come around to show you on the interior as well, there are some very, very nice touches inside here. Lots of carbon fibre, but for example, the carbon fibre instrument cluster, you have the saddle style leather in here. Behind the seats, have a look at the saddlebags back there on the rear shelf, but everything is actually personalised and different from a normal Vantage. For example, even the stalks are wrapped in leather, the air conditioning vents are in leather, everything is made by Aston Martin Q to create a bespoke experience. So let me come around actually, just pop open and show you the engine bay, because of course that is one of the big things about this. Just pop it down here, pull this open, come round and have a look in here at the power plant. So it's technically a 5.9 litre, but marketed as a 6-litre. It makes 600 horsepower, 630 newton meters. It will do 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 62 miles an hour in just 3.5 seconds. And technically, with the body style, this will be the fastest Aston Martin Vantage ever. Claimed 205 miles per hour, but no doubt it could go even faster. So down at the base of the front, you can see the design work, the extensions out there, but basically in this colour, sky full silver, it's presented beautifully and it's the ultimate car to drive on the road. So let's hear it start on up, take it outside and check it out. It's time then to hear the exhaust system, which is effectively that from the GT12, which we know is one of the best sounds out there in the entire world. Of course, with slightly less aggressive looks, but let's come down here and take a listen. Goodness me. One of the things Aston Martin always do so very well is the sound of the car. It's a good drum, it's a fantastic drum. Just as the car heads outside the showroom, a few words very quickly about the other cars in here. You might have noticed the Aston Martin DB5, a car that HWM actually sold when it was brand new. This car left their showroom. Behind that, we've got the Zagato Speedster. Only 28 of those in total on the Vanquish. It has the double bubble canopy back here on the rear deck lid, as opposed to having a roof mechanism. This is just a stunning car, and look at the details on the interior, again created with Zagato and Aston Martin Q. And then just here, to see the differences, we have the GT12, so pay particular attention to the front splitter and also the side skirts as I now head outside to show you the differences. And of course with this you also have the horseshoe grille on the front bonnet and this ginormous wing at the rear, which you don't find on the V600. So let's go straight out and take a better look at this. Look at this colour in the sunshine. It's very, I would say traditional, but the colour is Skyfall Silver, which is not all that old, but it really accentuates the curves of this car so very well. So although there's no rear wing, you do have this aggressive diffuser, but around the side skirts, they're shaped, they smoothen under, which basically means it's a car that's not so much about downforce, but more about driving on the road, and it accentuates the width of those rear arches. Look at how much they stick out. It's the wider body found on the GT12, also on the GT8, again with a different styling package modelled on the GTE car. But look at this. Have a look around the front, and some other details you notice, for example, are that there are no visible joins. It's one fender panel that comes all the way round and under the number plate at the front of the bumper in a single piece of carbon fibre. These perforations on the bonnet themselves with that power bulge in the middle, very iconic, very, I guess, aggressive styling, but subtle in their own way. That's what I think is so special about this car. If you don't know what you're looking at, you wouldn't have a clue how valuable it is, how rare it is. If you do know, then just feast your eyes on it. It's one of a handful, or two handfuls maybe I should say, in the world in total. But let me just jump in now and take a step into the car for myself to see this interior. So you could choose to have the more comfortable seats for the road car, obviously with the same perforation pattern again found inside the seat, or you could have it with the sportier bucket seats. These have heating and other memory electrical functionality that of course is quite nice to have. That dashboard looks fantastic, a couple of 100 miles on the car. You have a few controls here for your dampers, your sport mode, and also for the AM shift to control the gear stick, which has again a different style to that found in the V12 Vantage S. Let me just pop the ECU in. The key, the heart to the car, goes in here and brings it into life. So you've got to get used to this. First gear is there, as opposed to where one is more familiar and regularly able to find it. You've got a fly-off handbrake down on this side, Vantage V600. This is a special car to be able to drive. A big thanks to Zen Car Driver. You'll find his link down below. But it is time now for me to experience the V600 on the road. First thing I've discovered, a press of the sport button, listen to the noise. Quieter with the valves closed, you need sport open. You also get more throttle response and you have the independent control for the dampers, but given we're driving it on the road, let's keep those in normal mode rather than in sport. So I've got to get used to the dogleg gearbox, where first is to the left and down. The car has a lot of torque, 630 Newton meters, but we can go into first. I'm going to be following the owner driving in his Ferrari 488 at the moment. We're ready to head on out, give the thumbs up, and off we go! Straight to a traffic light. However, in the system, I think this is going to be the same as mine, we have the power meter, which can show you the amount of horsepower and torque that you're using. That's a really cool display, isn't it? Oh, wow! That was just about 3,000 RPM. This is going to be so cool. This is like a dream car of mine. It might not make sense. It's not the fastest car in the world. It's not the most crazy designed car in the world, but it has such an elegance and style to it, and what it represents and what it's capable of as a manual car to drive on the roads. The Vantage platform, short wheelbase, wide track, pure fun. I'm just itching to put it in gear and go here rather than sitting still to get some sound out of it and drive it and feel this gearbox. And you can enable AM shift by holding the sport button. I'll do that later on, where it then will immediately let you go up through the gears without having to use the clutch, which is obviously going to be quite a strange thing, but it's a gearbox that was kind of developed loosely in the background, found its way into the V12 Vantage S that you can have as a coupe or a roadster. There are not that many of those. It's down about 30 horsepower on this, so this is the most powerful Vantage ever, and well, it's got the V12 and without the drag that comes from the GT12's aero, so I've got to get used to driving it. Obviously I'm being very, very gentle right here. Let's head this way. to go exploring. I'm nervous, but excited. So driving gently, you know, going up through the gears. Let's get all of this right. Fourth gear is forwards. That takes the brain a moment to calibrate. It's quiet, the valves are closed. It's gentle. Of course, we've got the dampers in the soft setting. But I'm very aware of how special this car is, how valuable this car is, how rare this car is, and doing my utmost to look after it as best as possible. So let's take this gently. Of course, new engine being run in as well, so we can't go completely crazy and give it full load. Although on the public roads, obviously a car like this is too powerful to do that anyway. However, it feels like a great place to be. Into second gear. That sound is heavenly. Let's not go the wrong way. Where's third? Is that third? There we go. Got to get that right. Don't want to go into the wrong gear by mistake. This is one of those days where it's sunny and then the next minute it's raining. So we're out in the countryside now, but the roads are incredibly greasy. So I need to be rather exceptionally careful considering the value and how special this car is. But I'm getting a little bit more used now to the gearbox, where you move it to go from third to fourth, for example, forwards and to the right. It does boggle your mind if you're used to driving a manual, particularly because there are similarities between this and my GT8. Yet, obviously the difference that comes in the form of the gearbox. Now I'm manually downshifting there, but you can then put the car into AM shift. So if you press and hold the sport button, it tells me we're now in AM shift, where you'll get automatic rev matching, just while we've got a space in front of us. Just gently ease up through the revs, of course, still running it in. But the sound is so heavenly, and of course this is windows closed. It rides smoothly, it's quiet. When you do drive it gently, actually, it's really quite quiet, which is nice. That's what you want in a road car. At the end of the day, that's what this is about. It's playful characteristics. It's a challenge to drive well with this gearbox, obviously, to get used to it. Totally different experience. So let's just flip it down now. He says, there we go, into third gear itself. Took me a moment to find the right gear. Like I say, it is a process to get used to this, to actually learn the gearbox, to find out what you're doing. So I'm not going to be able to flat shift in these conditions, because I think the rear will just completely light itself up. I mean, that's basically what happens when you take this concoction of characteristics into one car. This bit of road is particularly bumpy right now, but just to go down into third gear then, there we go, auto rev matching, down into third, down into second, straight forwards. That sounds so good. And we're coming back out of the trees, back in towards the sunshine, which is lovely. This car is the car to enjoy a road like this, and because of how much torque you've got, you don't actually, unless you come to a complete stop, need to put it into first gear. I'm just going to wait for the cars to come out so we've got some space. So this tarmac is completely dry now. This is the way of the world today, hey? Anyway, out we go. Let's enjoy the road. Valves open up. The sound. It's pure heaven, honestly. And this is, I've gone from second to fifth again. That's the hardest thing, to go from second, where you instinctively allow the gear shift to move itself back towards the middle. But in this case, obviously, the middle is fifth down at the bottom. But in fourth, just pulling away from pretty slow speed, it's got more than enough torque than you could ever want. So you don't actually need to shift around too much between the different gears. You can kind of just stick it in fourth and drive away. And then it's everything I love about the old school, a big naturally aspirated engine, a proper hard-working gearbox. You know, yes, the car might be light with its carbon body panels, but of course it's still quite a heavy car because it's built on a platform, the V8 structure that Aston Martin brought to life, what, in 2004-ish? So we're talking a car that's basically 15 years old in terms of the chassis. The V12 came from the DB9 that they shoehorned into the V12 Vantage, which my dad used to have. So it's not the new car, but that's what makes it so special. It's the last of the old school. This, in the future, is going to be looked at and heralded for what it does, for what it achieves, what it allows a driving enthusiast. You know, it's purely here for the enthusiast to enjoy. That's why this car has been made. And, well, I'm definitely enjoying it today out on these roads. Just if only, there we go, down to third, down to second. If only I could get it right every single time. Anyway, the countryside roads in the UK are a bit bumpy. Let's just try this. Oh, I can't instinctively do it. I press the clutch. You basically need to be going foot flat, and I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. Just too slippy, way too slippy. The sound, however, is incredible. The sound of this car is just something to totally die for. And I'm I'm starting to get the hang of this gearbox, going up through the gears, not necessarily redlining it, but enjoying the torque, enjoying the sound, enjoying the revs up to 5th gear. We've got 7 gears here, so that's something on its own that isn't normal in an Aston Martin. And then you've got the rev match downshifts. I am loving it. This is the environment. Obviously it would be better if it was dry, but a huge thanks to Zen Car Driver for this opportunity. Driving a V600. It is, as I said, the ultimate Vantage, literally, for the road. And every single acceleration is just an absolute delight. Goodness me. And obviously with this much power, it's not lacking to any extent. Just having a whale at the time. I don't think anybody could ever drive a car like this, knowing how special it is, how few of them there are, how it was built for a purpose, and not have the most incredible time. It's not a car for daily driving. It's not a car, well, you probably could use it for a road trip, a grand touring adventure. It's really, I think, a statement of what this model was all about. It's sad it reached an end. The new car is obviously something very different. Oh, we've got another Ferrari coming the other way. The new Vantage is a great car, but a very, very, very different car. It doesn't have this old school engagement, the heavy steering, the heavy clutch that the Vantages of this generation did. And then in this, mixing in that fun gearbox they developed with that sound, and I'm sorry to bang on about it, but that's what it's about. The titanium exhaust on the naturally aspirated V12. It really gives you such a symphony when you're driving. It's such a spectacular experience. The engagement with the car, I just love everything about it. I've always loved this Vantage. It's one of my era poster cars, and this is the ultimate expression of it. Anywho, I've had, I think, a little bit too much fun. Let's head back towards HWM Aston Martin, and I'll show you a few more of the touches to the interior and the small details that have really gone into making this bespoke. That was a short but very, very sweet drive. The weather can't make up its mind at all. I just pulled in the rain. Now we've got glorious sunshine on the V600 and also on the DBS. But let me climb back into the car. You can hear it burbling away at the moment. The engine's still idling, because I want to show you a little bit more around the interior, some of the other things that we have going on in this car that are different to other models. So look at the waterfall, sculpture to the center console. For the GT12, they had a unique style. So the buttons are as per my GT8. In fact, it's very different from the first 4.3 Vantage, then the 4.7, and then this newer style with the haptic buttons. So when you press them, you get a vibration response to confirm. You can see there's this different air vent up top beneath the folding display. That's been in Astons for quite a while, and it has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto as well. In this car, differences: the anodized dials for the climate control and the media. This is actually really nice. The finish on them, very soft, clean finish. I quite like how that's been done. And then of course coming down towards the gear stick, where in the GT12 you didn't have a gear stick here at all. You had a small storage bucket, and then these buttons were for park, neutral, reverse, and that side of things, whereas in here we've got sport, traction, dampers and fog lights towards the top. And just like that, it's actually starting to rain again, even though we're looking at blue sky. Crazy day today. So continuing further down beyond the gear stick, we have this center area, which is all quite crazy. You've got a carbon fiber tunnel with a bespoke leather design on the top of it, again with these perforations that you see just about everywhere. The button to open the boot, also to lock and unlock. And then just look around, just look at the back. Look at the finish here. You can see the carbon fibre of the bodywork on the inside around the rear hatch, so all of the exterior panels are carbon. You've got this leather for the saddlebags, storage areas behind you, which can open up. Lift that out, open, you've got a small storage compartment. That's a really nice thing. This is the kind of touch you get with Aston Martin Q, just making it a completely bespoke, exclusive commission. And then you look forward. So this car has leather finish for the steering wheel, same steering wheel you'd find in my car, but then the dashboard is unique with the carbon fibre trim. It looks really good, especially the way the top end of the rev counter is painted on like that. I should potentially, oh, hang on, Austin sound system poking up. Just open the door for a second. Just listen to this, just a couple of very gentle blips. Sport mode, you can hear how much louder that got immediately. So earlier when I walked around and you heard it in idle, it wasn't in sport mode. Just a couple of gentle blips to enjoy this for a second. It sounds absolutely phenomenal. What a noise. In fact, I just want to come round and hear the idle burbles in sport. It's so much louder. Now, given it's Grand Tourer, you know, you have the luxury of the luggage space. We could open that up, just have a very quick look in here. Carbon fibre finish. I've got my luggage in here at the moment, but you've got decent storage. You can remove the parcel shelf and access all the storage you could possibly want back there. Pretty decent, hey? Perfect car for going on a road trip. Give that a good firm press. I just think it's so cool. I just want to show you one other thing actually in the engine bay. So to do that, we need to come around. Gosh, look at the front. It's beautiful, isn't it? Stunning looking thing. Q badge on there. Just come around and open this up again really quickly. Pull the toggle in here. We just find the latch quickly. The badge worn at the front. 1 of 7. All the cars say 1 of 7. 7 in total, not specifically numbered, or everybody would go for 007 James Bond style. And it's nice to have the V finish and the carbon fibre top of the engine as well. What a power plant that is. Anyway, let me close this back down, which you do, unusually, just by a gentle click. We've got the raw carbon fibre of the badges. I just think, well, one of my dream cars really. Right up there at the top of the list. Really, really special thing. Huge congrats to the owner of this car, and a massive thanks for the opportunity. So let me just turn it off, pop out the key. Farewell for now. What an awesome amount of fun this has been. And that just about brings things to a close for today then. What a drive for me. A big thanks to HWM Aston Martin, who hosted me today, and of course who supplied the car originally to Zen Car Driver, who gave me the opportunity today to drive and experience it, but also to share it with you guys. With only a very small number of these being built, they're being distributed across the globe. I don't think we're going to be seeing too much of them, so this chance was something that had to be grabbed, and I really appreciate it. A big thanks to him. His Instagram link is down below if you'd like to go over and check it out. And of course, as always, thank you to you guys for your support. I appreciate it an awful lot. That's it for this time though. I will see you again very soon. Cheers.